your host, Engelic Everett. And this is my lovely and amazing co-host, Kaitlin Frisicaro. And S-A-N, I'll just say it out. This is Self-Advocacy in Action. Presents the Engelic Show, which is by yours truly, Engelic. And we are here at the Museum of Disability History interviewing my dear friend and our special guest, David Squires. Shires. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. He is an instructor for rights and abuse prevention, and we will be talking about abuse and what he do as a trainer.
Okay, and our first question for you, Dave, is just tell us a little about yourself. Who are you? Why are we here today talking to you?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. It's really nice to be with you both.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that. Wow, the diva. I got a handshake. So I have been with People Incorporated for 17 years now. 15 of those years I have spent here in training, and now we're actually called Learning and Development. Before that, I was in the residential department. I worked at one of our residential group homes.
Okay.
So now I'm the director of the Learning and Development Department.
Okay, see, I'm learning something new today.
Wow.
Me too. I did not know that. Okay.
All
And
right.
is that part of the training department? Or is that
Yeah, we kind of changed our name.
Okay.
Yeah, so we used to be training, and now we're Learning and Development.
Okay.
Yeah, L&D.
Got it.
That's really interesting.
That's really good to know.
Okay.
Okay.
So, who takes the rights and abuse training, and what exactly it covered in this class?
Sure. So really the training that we do, it's on the very first day of orientation for new employees. So it is required of all employees of People Inc., not just people working in group homes or in day habs or things like that, but even our maintenance people, people working in senior housing. Really the agency feels it's very important for everybody to get this training. We talk about the types of abuse, how to prevent abuse, how to report abuse. We also talk about people's rights and the rights that they're entitled to by receiving services here at People Incorporated.
So, that's
Pretty
really
essential.
interesting. Yeah, you heard that, my viewers. You heard that. That's very interesting.
It's very important.
Yes, it is.
So let's see, the next question for you is, what if staff who are working for an agency like People Inc. are working with someone who is not aware of their rights? And maybe that's a concern that they're,
Yes.
what would they do, who would they go to?
Really, I really think that would be a great opportunity to then educate the person about their rights. And we have several different tools that we use. We have some versions of people's rights that are pictures. That might be easier for some people to gather information via that way. We have a big push here within the agency, the Right of the Month. You're a big part of that, right? You sit on that committee with us.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's really, we look at that as an opportunity to really educate people, because we know a lot of people don't know their rights, even in general society. Many people
Right.
aren't familiar with their
Exactly.
civil rights and things like that. So it's a great
Absolutely.
opportunity to really have a conversation with the person about their rights.
And just to add the part to it, some people might not even have a voice.
That's right, yes.
That's why I kind of mentioned it in the rights meeting.
Yeah,
Because, even though, I'm just saying, even though, that some people might have a voice like me, but other people might be shy and might not want to speak up for themselves.
yes. It's a good point.
Very good point.
Yes.
And I know you mentioned the tools. I know they're developing that. Maybe you can speak more about what they've been doing in the Rights Committee.
Sure.
And how accessible that tool, the cards and everything.
Yep, yeah, there's cards, there's the rights assessment. We're really focusing on kind of having the conversation with the person to find out what rights are important to them, and then spending time educating them about those specific rights versus all rights in general and things like that. Maybe some people aren't interested in certain rights of theirs, and maybe they'd like to exercise other rights more. So we spend a little bit of time, but really getting to know the person and having those conversations. Yeah.
Great.
And I have that part too when you said that. And that's just like, their parents, Some people have supportive parents, but some people might not have supportive families or parents that kind of be there for them to give them confidence.
Yes, important.
Or guidance.
Right.
So can you tell us some of the different types of abuse?
Sure, yeah. So really we talk about all the different types of abuse. Some of the ones most people are probably familiar with, unfortunately, are like physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect is another form of abuse, psychological abuse, or some people still call that mental or verbal abuse.
Or emotional.
Or emotional abuse, yeah, many people call that psychological abuse as well.
And what is the newer abuse that you were talking about in your training?
Yeah, there's a couple of different, one of them is called obstruction of reportable incidents. And that's one of the newer types of abuse that was kind of developed along with the Justice Center. And that's really if somebody is not telling the truth, or if they're not being truthful during an investigation, or if they're falsifying documentations or things like that. Really anything that gets in the way of truth and justice for the person. So
And I know the other one that kind of interests me that you were talking about in your training was aversive conditioning.
yes, you remember that one, right? Aversive
Yeah,
conditioning.
that's
Yeah.
kind of one of my good, that kind of one of my good abuse that we were talking about, and that kind
Yeah.
of stuck out to me.
You remember that
That's
one?
right.
Yeah.
That's why I can remember that.
Okay,
Yes.
good, yeah.
Okay, next question. What if someone is not sure if they've experienced abuse or not?
That's a good question,
It's
yeah.
kind of a tough question.
It really is, yeah.
It can be a
Um,
very, gray area sometimes.
Yes, yeah. Really, we're a big believer in when in doubt, check it out. So if you're not sure, having the conversation, we know as employees of People Inc., we are mandated reporters to the state of New York. So if we become aware of abuse or if somebody reports it to us, we certainly have an obligation to pass that and make that notification and make people aware of that situation so they can rectify it. But really, I think just having the conversations, feeling comfortable with people, being observant as employees and volunteers. If you notice somebody's behavior changes, or if they're acting differently, or maybe they're sleeping a lot, or they don't want to talk to people, become withdrawn, some of those signs might indicate that the person is experiencing some type of distress in their lives.
And what if that person feels unable to love themselves or others?
Sure, yeah. That really,
That's a deep
it
question.
is deep, yes.
I thought I kind of add that a little bit in there, a little bit, that's right.
That's
Kind
right.
of spice things up a little bit, you know what I'm talking about.
Spicy,
Yeah.
yes. Well, hopefully that person has a really good support network, and the people around them, their loved ones, their friends, their family, hopefully they would recognize some of those changes in the person and have the conversations, encourage them to get help. Maybe it's counseling. We have a big push in the agency, you're probably familiar with trauma-informed care, so really just looking at the person.
That's kind of changed my outlook on everything in life with the whole
Yeah.
trauma.
Right, it is kind of a mind shift, really.
It really is,
Yeah.
thinking about what someone might be going through and why they might be, acting a certain way.
Now, this is, no, it's off topic, I know it's not in this, but what if they feel like alone and they will feel suicidal? Then, I just I'll put it out there.
Yeah, absolutely, sure.
Well, suicide is a whole nother extreme.
Yes, it is.
If
Right.
you think someone has those kind of tendencies.
Yeah, and I don't know the resources specifically, but those suicide prevention hotlines and things like that, and hopefully they feel comfortable with reaching out to somebody or getting help for themselves, but
Well,
yeah.
I will mention about that in the other question that I will ask you about why I had said that question.
So should I go to the next question?
Well, I think the
Oh, I
other
already
question is me.
So, yeah.
What if my friends, tell me they have experienced abuse, but don't tell nobody about it. Don't tell somebody about it.
Sure. So that would be a difficult situation, I would think, if your friend confides in you, maybe that they've experienced some type of abuse, or they're not sure and they're asking you maybe not to say something. Really, I really feel that that person needs to get them supports, get them help in any way possible. We want to do it certainly with that person, and we don't want to kind of betray that trust to the person, but certainly if they are struggling and they're experiencing abuse or they have experienced abuse, I really think that the paramount, the most important thing would be to get that person some support, some assistance, and explaining to them that you'll do it in the least type of restrictive way possible. We'll do everything we can. I'm here to help you. You've done nothing wrong. You know, we're going to get you some help, or you're going to feel better. We're going to help you to deal with that situation head on.
That's very good advice.
And the only reason I asked that particular question, and I know, I am a little bit passionate, and I know I am a little emotional.
Yes.
But I have two friends basically that have been abused, and they have told me, and all I have to, when I do talk to them, I tell them I love you, because they might not have nobody in their life that loves them.
Yes.
And I always tell them, well, I love you, I care about you, and I will be there to help you if you need help.
Yeah.
Yep.
But and they might not even have their own family to be there for them.
Yeah.
They might not, because I know one of my really good friends had told me that their own family don't even care about them. Their own parents don't care about them.
Oh,
And their friends don't care about them.
sure.
That's why I mentioned about the other question, because she, whoever had told me had said from the beginning that they wanted to commit suicide because of it. And when that person had told me, I'm like, oh my God, I was like literally in tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes you can feel helpless as someone who cares about someone who's going through a hard time or has experienced these traumas or abuse. And sometimes you do feel helpless because you want to help them. But it's something like that, as Dave mentioned, like making sure that they know they have the support, and like sometimes you do have to take action that might not be very comfortable.
Well, I do give them
If they are
advice
talking about
too,
suicide, that
so.
Yeah.
makes it very
Pretty urgent.
urgent to make sure that someone is aware and make sure that they get help as soon as possible.
Well, I do give them advice, and I basically tell them, I care about you. You should not be, you shouldn't do that, because you shouldn't feel that way to do that.
Yeah.
So.
And that's great that they trust you and felt comfortable coming to you for that. So you must be a very good friend to those people. So that's very
I
nice.
guess I do feel a little special.
We all know you are.
Yes.
Okay. Well, those are some hot topics, huh?
Yes.
Well, our last question for you, Dave, is what are some ways we can prevent abuse?
I think discussions like this certainly help, right?
Conversations.
Some of the training we do with our employees, educating people,
Yeah.
some people don't know what abuse is, so I think having those conversations, talking to somebody, your supervisor, if you're feeling kind of overwhelmed. Teamwork is a big one. Sometimes we're working very hard, and we know this can be difficult work at times, so having a coworker to kind of support you, and maybe I need 5 minutes to go outside and get some coffee or to take a break, can you cover for me? So things like that really, we find, prevent abuse ahead of time, and again, just conversations like this also are really important.
Yeah.
And have support groups as well too.
Support groups,
Kind of
yes.
be there, you probably grieving or whatever, and some you can have like a counselor be in there and talk to you one-on-one about it.
Absolutely.
And if you cry, you can cry.
Sure. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for your time and answering
people.
these
Hold up, I got to close
these
it.
questions.
And I kind of got to thank you in the closing.
Oh,
part, so,
okay.
yes.
All right.
I am your host, Engelic Everett. And this is my co-host, Kaitlin Frisicaro. Thanks, Dave, for you coming out of your busy schedule for us to interview you.
Yes, thank you guys for coming out. It was
Yeah,
great.
it's
Thank
been
you
a
so much.
pleasure.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Hold up.